at the close of this first day of this second Ashes Test match, England 325 for 9. And at the 30th attempt in Australia, Joe Root has made his first ever 100 to guide England to a position from which they've got something to defend when they come out to bowl on the second day. Root 135 not out at the close of play. Jofra Archer 32 not out. They added 61 for the last wicket in 44 balls after England were 5 for 2. Then the recovery. Zach Crawley making 76 after his pair at Perth. Harry Brook out for 31, playing well and had a big drive to a wide delivery from Mitchell Starc. Stokes run out for 19 brilliantly by Inglis. Jacks making 19. There was a recovery then, and then England lost wickets. Atkinson out for 4 and Cast for 0. We thought England were going to be bowled out or declare. They played some shots. It came off, and so England up to 325 for 9 by the close of play. Jonathan Agnew is with me. Glenn McGrath is with me. Well, Jonathan, pick the bones out of that. What sort of day was that?
Another roller coaster, wasn't it? A roller coaster. You mentioned that Joe Root's been there most of the day. He actually faced the 16th ball, didn't he? 5 for 2. He couldn't help just thinking, oh, here we go again on the back of Perth, and it just felt like it was going to be another shambles. But 5 to 2, 122 for 2. Excellent stand there. I think the story of the day, in a way, is that England got into positions again. And you have to say that once again it's been poor shot selection that's cost them those good positions. Zach Crawley won't be pleased with his shot. He got to 76, caught behind pulling Nisa, who's I didn't think was really up to much today, to be honest. And I think we ought to say this is not a top-notch Australian attack. It really isn't. I mean, this is very much second division, apart from Mitchell Starc, of course. So therefore, surely you treat Starc with a bit of caution, don't you? But Harry Brook didn't. Again, a good recovery, 176 for 3. The first ball he faced of him of a new spell, it was an appalling shot, I'm sorry. And you wonder, we talked a lot about what England could learn from Perth and the lessons learned. Well, you look at that shot and you think, I'm afraid Harry Brook's learnt nothing. And we said the same thing at Perth about the way that he plays. I'm sorry, but the last 3 Test matches, he has played really poor shots. You have to say that he was largely responsible, along with Root, for England losing the last Test match they played against India at the Oval. They were set. They should have just knocked those runs off and won the game. They didn't. Perth, awful shot in the second innings. And then today here, 31, he's got so much talent. And I think the reason for my frustration, and I think most people's frustration, is unless he does knuckle down and focus on the broader aspects of the game, he's not going to fulfil his incredible talent. And that would be a real shame, because he is immensely talented. He's got an incredible eye. His statistics are superb, a lot, well, some of which based on those innings in Pakistan. But, he's not going to fulfil it if he bats like this. He's just not. He has to learn to play for a situation, and just to use some intelligence and just play sensibly. It's very, very frustrating. He got the hard work done today and threw it away just at a time that England could not afford to lose a wicket. The light was closing in, the lights were on. That is a time, surely, as you saw from Stokes and Root, you knuckle down, you work hard. It's not easy. And Stokes tried really hard. I mean, the run out, well, people do get run out. He just misjudged that. It was his fault. He pushed and ran, and Root wasn't going anywhere. Brilliant piece of fielding from Inglis. Brilliant catch from Carey later on as well, by the way. But then Jacks before him had also played so well and so calmly and supported Root. And then suddenly, Stark's on, brainstorm time, swishing outside the off stump. He missed the first one, nicked the second. So for me, it's that England again have shown a lot of promise, a lot of opportunity. They've got to those positions, but they haven't quite made the most of it. I thought 350, 360 was a par score. They might still get it, but they're doing it the hard way.
And meanwhile, at the other end, watching this, was Joe Root, who's just done it at last.
Head and shoulders above the rest, isn't he? Just the way that he plays. And going back to Brook briefly, he must watch Root. He must watch Root and just see how Joe Root plays. He hasn't got a bat like Joe Root, but the same mental approach that Joe Root has. Sometimes you've got to work hard. You've got to really fight. Even someone of Root's talent, 40 Test hundreds, and all the pressure on him today. There's so much written about him, and the Aussies have given him a hard time. He's not a great player. All that stuff. We know all that stuff.
Average Joe.
Yeah, all those things. And what I loved was that little shrug at the end there. He's looked at the players and just shrugged his shoulders and said, "What's all the fuss about, boys?" I knew I was going to get it. Well, there was no guarantee he's going to get it. But the century in Australia aside, that was a superb 100. with everything else that was going on around it and the conditions and all of that, that was just a superb 100. The fact it was his first in Australia is kind of coincidental, really.
What did he do so well?
Knuckled down, fought hard, risk-free, risk-averse until he played some shots at the end. He left a lot alone. None of those booming drives that he got out to in Perth, for instance. He was much more careful with his shot selection, and to come in as early as he did, and the pressure really on. You can see him talk to Zach Crawley. You see him to talk to the others who came in around him. He's there. He's in control. He loves batting. He's at home when he's batting, and he was just that was a really masterful innings today.
Glenn, from an Australian bowler's perspective, how would you characterise England's batting and shot making today? Jonathan talked about Harry Brook, for example. Zach Crawley played actually very well, and then didn't go on when you felt he could have done. Obviously, there's Joe Root. Let's talk about some of the shot making to start with. Then we'll talk about Root.
Yeah, it was an interesting start to the day. England won the toss, selected to bat. And 2 early wickets, we thought, here we go again, similar to Perth. But the way Crawley and Root batted, they had there was a little bit of luck, element of luck there, but you'd need that when you're going to bat well. But listening to Mitchell Starc at the end was interesting. The new pink ball is tough in normal conditions. Under lights, it's incredibly tough. But he said that ball went soft. And up at Brisbane here, that happens a lot. When you've got, when you're bowling, he said it is tough to force it because it's not coming on as well. There's a little bit of tennis ball-y bounce out there. And the ball's not doing a great deal. We saw it just move a little bit in the air, not a huge amount of seed movement once that ball got older. So it can be tough. Mitchell Starc just showed how important he is to this team. But it's a type of wicket you've got to give yourself a chance, get in it, get used to the pace. Tennis ball-y bounce, as I said, get used to that. That's a little different. Tomorrow will quicken up. It'll come on quicker, so we'll see how that goes. So is that
good for the bowlers or good for the batters?
Well, it depends. If once that ball gets older, but it's coming on okay, but it's soft and it's not doing a great deal, we'll wait and see. It's hard to judge what this pitch is going to be like. They only left 3 mils of grass on there, so I think the way Joe Root batted, he summed up the situation. And apart from an early edge which didn't carry, I know Steve Smith got his hand to, but that would have been an unbelievable catch. But after that, he looked solid. He didn't look under pressure. He looked like he had time. There was a session where they went hard, bowling short when he was out there with Harry Brook, and they even Joe Root looked like didn't want to leave a shot alone. They were playing every short ball, pulling, hooking, but he looked good. So I think there's not a lot of fear in this pitch. Mitchell Starc, you look at the wickets he's got, just pushing him across and chasing wide ones. So it'll be interesting to see how England bowl on this pitch and just see exactly how it is and see if they've picked up any little things. But Australians, the way Brook got out, the way Jack's got out, and a few other wickets, you probably wouldn't see Australia chasing those wide ones as much. But I guess you won't know until tomorrow. So
Mitchell Starc takes 6 for 71. Was it a 6 for 71 performance? I mean, the figures are there, but were a few of those? I mean, he throws it wide, doesn't he? So go on, have a go at that, and England fall into the trap. Was it a masterful bowling performance, or just canny?
That was quality. He's bowling with confidence, and when bowlers of his calibre bowl with confidence, they take wickets, and he's just pushing him across England batsmen. Bowling that wobble seam.
He's got 23 wickets in his last 5 innings.
But England don't want to leave them alone.
And he knows that as well.
So you still got to get them out there just in that area and just, and wickets will come. Someday it's your day, others it won't. But, you've got to adapt and bowl to your bowling plans to every batsman. They'll have bowling plans to these batsmen, and one of it is pushing wide because they don't want to let the ball go.
What about that sting in the tail at the end? I mean, it was interesting that last hour. It was actually fascinating cricket, wasn't it? It was fascinating throughout for all sorts of reasons. The subplots. Zach Crawley coming into the match on a pair. Mitchell Starc, the king of the pink ball. Joe Root, can he get his 100 in Australia? And the highs of that brilliant catch by Carey, the wonderful run out from Inglis. But that last hour where England were frittering wickets away. They were 9 down.
264 for 9.
Yeah, with about 45 minutes left.
Yeah.
And you think, well, I remember we go back to Edgbaston in the last Ashes where England declared about 390 rather, for 8, with Rope out there on 100 and scoring freely. What did you think? Did you think they should have declared?
I think most people thought that they would. Well, what happened was obviously they went out there to play the shot, so they got out with the bowling, and so that would have saved that decision to have to be made. But I think out the back here talking, everyone I spoke to, Australians and English, are like, what's going on? He should be declaring. This is all rather unusual because Stokes is actually a very proactive captain too, isn't he? He doesn't like a sort of a stagnant period. So, but he didn't get a stagnant period.
Just explain why you would declare with Root over 100.
Well, because you have the chance maybe of getting 1 or 2 Australians out in the lights. That's the point with the new ball, and particularly if it is Travis Head, for instance. But it got to a stage where probably they'd have sent in a low order batsman anyway, a night watchman. But you know, it was really refreshing cricket, that actually, to see Joe Root and everyone back and to give him the licence to have a go with Archer at the other end. Archer plays some excellent shots as well. He's no mug with the bat. He's really sort of underperformed really at Test cricket with the bat. He's a better player than we've seen a lot of him. But he did play well today. And sometimes, you know, like the Australians, when you're wasting a bit of time, when you've got your mind on something else, we don't want to bat here, so we're going to slow it down. We're going to wait. You know, actually, you can get nipped. You know, you just lose that positive drive of your play. You can get stung a bit, and that's what happened there. They suddenly didn't bowl terribly well. Everyone out on the boundary doesn't help, and you have to say, fair play. I think that's worked. Those runs, those 61 runs, I think you'd take that even above getting 1 wicket tonight.
Glenn?
Interesting. I think England got more runs than what Australia would have wanted to. But as Mitchell Starc said, you're bowling with a ball that's doing nothing. It's soft. It's not swinging. It's the best conditions to bat in. So I'm not surprised they got some runs. I was a little bit disappointed with they didn't bowl good bounces, the Australian. They didn't mix up the pace. But I would have still been tempted to declare with 40 minutes to go. 40 minutes to add them out there. You're probably sitting, 260?
Yeah, 264.
If they come in tonight, there was potential for Australia to be 4 down tonight. If they're down 4 for 20 tonight with defending 260, what would you prefer? 260 on the board, 4 for 20, or 9 for 325?
Well, you'd want 4 for 20, wouldn't you? But you're not guaranteed it.
You're not guaranteed it, but let me tell you, bowling under lights with the new pink ball is normally as tough as it's ever going to get. That's why you want to have that to bowl with the new ball under lights. But it's only 3 mils of grass out there. That's the difference. So if they left normal, would have done more. You're not guaranteed it. But let me tell you, it's a lot easier to pick up 4 wickets in half an hour bowling on this wicket in these conditions than first thing in the morning. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. There's a lot of time left in this game. Maybe we'll get to see new ball under lights in the next 2 or 3 days and just see what difference it would have made.
If the timing had been perfect, England would have done that, smash 61, come running off and bowl 3 overs or 4 overs or something. That would have been the perfect timing, wouldn't it, with that momentum?
Yeah.
Whereas tomorrow, probably, you imagine that Archer will get knocked over fairly early on as play resumes, and then you go out and start from fresh, don't you? But you do take that momentum with you sometimes. But you can't have everything.
I think that England are still batting tonight. That's a little tick that they got through that. Australia would have preferred to have them bowled out. Okay, focus. We know when we're batting in the morning and what have you. But the fact that England got through that last period, they're 9 down, they're still batting. I think that's a win on top of the score and everything else.
And with the possibility as well of some more runs tomorrow if Archer can support Joe Root.
What do Australia do? Are they all out on the fence again? Or
they've got 6 overs to get through of an old ball that's doing nothing and it's soft. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is. Zach Crawley's mum's about to get a horrible shock because he's about to be on camera back home, I think, and she's going to see his haircut.
Well, yeah. Well, that haircut seemed to work for him today now.
He played some beautiful shots.
Yes,
today.
He did. Yeah. I mean, a man under pressure as well. When you think, you come in off a pair, you must, however much you stay off social media and stay away from newspapers and all that sort of thing, you must know the chatter out there. Yeah. When you've got a pair in your first test
match. You know
it
yourself, don't you? I mean, you're sitting on a pair, and he's known for 12 days. He's going to be facing Mitchell Starc again, the first over with a pink ball, and he's just got him out twice. He's bagged a pair. I mean, that's. yeah, to
Is
actually,
it pressure? They play with no pressure. I think Baz doesn't want their players to have any pressure.
Yeah, but he's also he's also human.
He's a
as
human
well.
being.
Exactly,
You've got to feel it.
I
Haven't
think
you?
to come out and play like that today is a good effort.
Yeah.
I must say, he played a beautiful cover drive early on off Mitchell Stark, and that got him away.
That got him going, and there was that little. You wonder if Steve Smith had reviewed that.
Well, could definitely be given out.
Yeah. So where things are at. So you've got to chance your arm, and I like his attitude, and I've met him a few times. He's trained with my old trainer, and when he's going well, he's such a good-looking batsman to watch. He's tall. It's just the way he strokes through the ball. So I'm glad he did well today.
Yeah, on 15, it looked as if he edged one through Australia, half appealed. It wasn't really concerted, and then they could have reviewed it, they didn't, and then when we saw the DRS, there was just a little scratch on it, which suggests that he would have been out for 15, and England would have been 21 for 3. Root as well was dropped. Difficult chance, low down by Smith, diving in front of Labuschagne at first slip. It would have been a brilliant catch if he'd got it. Root picked up 4, and the rest, they say, is history. Now, Joe Root isn't doing interviews tonight. We'll hear from him tomorrow, but we can get some reaction from the England camp because Zach Crawley has been speaking to Henry Moran.
Oh, really good day. I mean, unbelievable day for Joe. He's had that coming for a long time. He deserves it. I mean, probably the best player I've ever played with or against, and he's made us have a good day as a team there, so we're happy.
We'll get on to your innings shortly, but this is something that has been discussed, not just this tour, but several tours before. Joe Root not quite getting that 100 in Australia. It's felt a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been a big thing for him, to be honest. There seems to be outside noise about that. I came on the last tour here and he played really well, just on some green wickets, got a couple of 80s, and sometimes you just don't get the rub of the green, and he didn't even need the rub of the green today. He just played a flawless knock, and when I watched it was hard to believe that he hadn't got 100 here. It was such a great knock, and he made it look effortless. So he deserves it. He worked so hard in this game, and he's a brilliant player.
What does that mean to the team to have that sort of moment at the start of a difficult start to a tour, but seeing something that really can bring a side together like that?
Yeah, we were so excited up there. Everyone was smiling. We were nervous for him. I was nervous for him. About 20 runs out, everyone was talking about it, like what is he going to do with the celebration and stuff. And we were so just chuffed to bits for him. So absolutely. And he's gonna, he deserves all the credit he gets from all the lads and from everyone.
How are you feeling when those 2 wickets fell at the other end early on in the day today to Mitchell Stark? It felt like a tough moment for England, that.
Yeah, it was obviously a great start by them. A couple of, really good ball and a bit unlucky for Popey. So, but, that was me last week, so I know how it feels. So, it's just the nature of the beast at the top of the order, and I knew it was just going to get a bit easier if me and Joe could bat for 10 overs or so, and it proved to get a little bit easier, so we managed to put some runs.
Has it felt a long 11 days for you personally coming into this game, and how significant for you is it to get those runs today?
Yeah, it did feel long. I think it would have felt long if I'd have got loads of runs in Perth, to be honest. It was a big old gap, but I was really pleased with how I played. Obviously wanted more. I was gutted when I got out, and felt like the pitch was just getting really flat actually when I got out, so obviously very, very disappointed, but standing here now I'm happy with the 76 and I feel like we're in a good position.
That partnership at the end there was many saying that England should declare, get half an hour with the pink ball under the lights. What was the chat in the dressing room?
The chat was to go hard, and if you got out, then we can have half an hour of them, and if you got some runs, then they could be crucial runs, and they proved to do the latter. They got some crucial runs. 50-run partnership there, 10th wicket is a phenomenal effort, and puts us in a good position tomorrow, I think.
Do you think it's England's day on account of that partnership?
I do. I mean, I'm not sure what the Aussies would say, but I think sitting here as an England player, I think it's our day, yeah.
The pink ball has had a lot of criticism, there's been a lot of talk. How was it out there?
It's interesting. It definitely plays differently from the red ball. Like, if it hits the shiny side, it kind of skids on, and if it hits the seam, it kind of stops in the wicket. So it's different. You just got to adapt and play, and it's definitely a different sort of cricket. I mean, I didn't bat under lights today, but they say it's harder to bat under lights. So we'll have to see. Hopefully that's the case when we start bowling tomorrow.
And just finally, is the buzz cut the secret?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. I mean, half the team have got a buzz cut now. It's so hot here in Brisbane, so no. But I like it, though. It might stay.
Well played today, Zach. Thanks a lot.
Zach Crawley talking to Henry Moran. So England's day, according to Zach Crawley, we'll find out tomorrow. We'll just see Australia bat and give some context to that England score of 325 for 9. Of course, they have power to add because Joe Root is still there on 135 and Jofra Archer's there on 32. I just want to chat to Glenn about the composition of the Australia team. Nathan Lyon left out of this match, 5 seamers, so going with the England tactic from Perth. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, to be honest. I thought Nathan Lyon, he does have a pretty good record of bowling with a pink ball, but yeah, I'm not sure what they were thinking. I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that it gets dark quite early here, compared to, say, Adelaide at this time of the year, because of that time difference and no daylight savings. So they thought majority of the play will be played in twilight or dark, where it probably assists the fast bowler. So whether that was part of their thinking, I know Nathan Lyon got hit in Perth, and that's why he didn't bowl much in the wasn't really required, but he got hit in the nets on the ankle. So they're saying none of that played a part. So I dare say they thought the ball might do a little bit more, and especially under lights. So yeah, it was a little bit surprised with the bowling attack we went in with.
It feels, Jonathan, from this positioning, if you go back a few months, if you said that the second Test match for Australia there would be no Cummins, there'd be no Hazelwood, there'd be no Lyon, and Weatherald would be in the Australian team, and Inglis, Nisa and Doggett, you thought, okay, we can live with that.
Absolutely, which is why, again, the first Test performance was so disappointing, because England should have won that first Test match. And they have got these injury problems. We've talked about their pace attack, creaking and being elderly and so on. They made the decision not to play Nathan Lyon in this match. I mean, I have to say, I think that bowling attack of Australia's is the poorest I've seen since 10-11. I mean, it's pretty bog standard, trundly fast medium, for which half the day was instructed to bowl bouncers, which actually is not their natural game at all. I mean, take Mitchell Starc out of that, he's brilliant, he's an outstanding world-class bowler, but the rest of it I thought was really second division. And it just looked it today, and I was, Smith's tactic to get them running in bowling bouncers I thought was a bit unkind on them, really, because it's not what they're used to doing. I mean, Doggett is a pitched up, swing it the ball away sort of bowler, and he's running in bowling half trackers. He's gone for 5.5 and over. Nisa has got he's gone for three and over, 1 for 43. But Boland, he had a bit of tap there at the end. 19 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 87. Yeah,
I mean, without Mitchell Starc.
Yeah, exactly. And you could say that was the case in Perth, I thought too. I mean, he was head and shoulders above the rest there, and this is why the frustration was for Perth, because Australia is vulnerable. It is vulnerable, and we know that's the case. We know their batting is vulnerable. But it's interesting that looking up on the screen at the moment, this game, this day has just finished. What's showing on the telly here? We've got Travis Head smashing England around at Perth already up on the television screens, as if it's sort of come on, lads, to the Australian players below. I mean, it's quite bizarre, but that's kind of what it's like over this part of the world.
I don't know. I think they've been playing it on a loop ever since. I went into my hotel room in Canberra and I turned on the television. The first thing I saw was Head reaching his 100.
So it just shows what the England players have had to put up with for the last 12 days. They've been photographed in all sorts of ways. There's drones flying over the golf courses. There's paparazzi outside their hotel doors. They're snapped on scooters without helmets on. I mean, it's been pretty relentless. They were 5 for 2, and they've fought through pretty well there. 325 for 9. That's not a bad score, I don't think.
Tuffers is here.
Hello.
What did you make of Australia's decision to leave out a spinner?
Well, interesting just listening to John there, saying that, the rest of it was second division. What you get with Nathan Lyon is not second division. Don't matter what colour ball it is, what pitch it is. He can hold up and then he can get wickets. I can guarantee you that last pair wouldn't have got 50 if Nathan Lyon was there as the spin bowler. So, yeah, they might be ruining that decision a bit. Gives you control, gets you wickets, when the other guys, as you say, apart from Mitchell Starc, were just looking a little bit frayed, weren't they? So, yeah, there is still room for a spin bowler. We're always the first to go, aren't we? Get rid of the spinner.
Well, England are not playing their frontline spinner either.
But I think the reason for that is I think that they both had a bowl at Lilac Hill, didn't they? And I don't know whether there was too much sort of difference between and it gives you so much more.
But Jack did show for a while there what he can do with the bat, didn't he? He played very calmly. Yeah. He was playing really beautifully for Root, and then had a brainstorm and Starc came on again.
I know. So a few soft wickets there, but I mean, listen, Mitchell Starc well bowled.
How did you see the sort of final analysis, Tuffers? Whose day did you think it is?
Well, I don't know, it's an awkward one, isn't it? As you say, Australia could go out and blaze it around and play really well. Smith head and these. Well, I think England will be happy with that. You know, from the position they were when we were all hiding under the desk here. You know, 5 for 2. They've dug themselves out of a bit of a hole. They showed a huge amount of character. One thing we know about this side is that they have that character, and they have the tools in the toolbox to do that, and they performed today and got themselves out of a bit of a hole. So I'm just giving it to England just by nose.
But it could have been better, some of the stroke making, shot making.
Yes, I agree. You know, I mean, it's very skillful, very good bowling from Mitchell Starc, but it's just kind of like, you know, run it across and we'll go and have a little fish for it. You know, but take nothing away. You know, great piece of bowling. But I think a few of the guys will be looking at the highlights reel with their sort of head in their hands, just thinking, "Oh, why did I chase that one?"
Yeah. Okay. Well, one person who was very happy for them to chase them was Alex Carey, the wicket keeper, who snaffled a few. Actually, caught one.
He kept brilliant.
He kept brilliantly, and he caught a brilliant catch as well to get rid of Gus Atkinson running back towards fine leg. So it's time to hear from Alex Carey. He's been speaking to Corbin Middlemass and the ABC commentary team.
A bit up and down, really. Yeah, obviously started really well with the ball. And we saw a pretty good partnership form with Crawley and Root, and then got back in the game after lunch, after tea, whatever we call these sessions. And then obviously, you know, that late partnership was pretty crucial for them, I think. Could have been worse, could have been better. But yeah, I thought Joe played an outstanding innings. I think we all know probably what that meant to him on Australian soil. But yeah, like I said, probably could have been better, could have been worse.
Who took the honours on day one?
Well, I think it's a pretty good pitch. Would have been nice to bowl them out there late. Yeah, I think any time you're still batting at the end of day one these days, it's pretty rare. So yeah, England played well. We're really confident we're in the game. We've got a good opportunity when our time comes to bat. I thought there probably wasn't a lot of sideways movement, a little bit of shape in the air. But yeah, we also saw runs in that last session. We saw runs in the first session. We saw wickets throughout. So hard to say.
Kez, a bit of inconsistency in the surface, because noticed a few deliveries fell short of you on occasions.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good pitch. Maybe put it down to the pink ball. I think we saw a lot of times the boys trying to change it. They were saying you could almost put it out of shape with your hand. Like it just felt soft at times. So, but yeah, look, it produced runs, it produced wickets. So, look, I think the wicket's pretty good. I think the ball was performed probably the way we thought it was going to. Yeah, had him 9 for 260. It was a good position. And obviously, a late little cameo from Jofra. Yeah, it would have been nice to get him out early.
Kears, that catch running back over your shoulder, talk us through what was going through your mind when that ball went up in the air.
Oh yeah, I've had football days, so I've had players trying to tag me. Marnus was one of them today, and just outbodied him late. So he talks a big game in rugby, but yeah, AFL came through there, I reckon.
GWS Giants, eh? It was an incredible catch. I mean, I was on air with Jakesy at the time, and we were obviously at the far end of the ground. I thought, geez, has he hung on to that? And almost like the crowd had the same reaction, where you knew you'd taken it, so did Marnus.
Marnus had a big smile on his face. Yeah, he almost kissed me. I think he did kiss me there, but yeah, one of those ones. Yeah, you just go hard early and put in the dive. But yeah, like I said, we had a pretty good day. It would have been nice to wrap it up there late.
Did you miss the spinner at any stages throughout the day?
I don't think so. No, I think we chipped away, and like I said, like the position we got ourselves in, we stayed in it. I think it was 4 for 200 at one stage, then 9 for 260, and then a late little burst there. So, no, I thought, look, it's always going to be tough to leave out a player like Nathan Lyon. What I have learned in the last few years, these selectors have done an amazing job in making the big calls, making the right calls a lot of the time, and we've had a lot of success throughout the past few years with them in charge. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back out there tomorrow, hopefully wrap up that first wicket and get batting.
And your fellow wicket-keeping mate, Josh Inglis, goes okay barehanded as well?
And again, that changed a little bit of a course of the day as well. We all know what run-outs could do. We got a couple of back-to-back, so yeah, that was one of the best run-outs I've seen, actually. That was pretty special.
It really was. It was a brilliant piece of work from Inglis to run out Ben Stokes, and it started England's collapse, but they did recover towards the end. So that's Alex Carey talking to the ABC commentary team. Now, last but not least, we're going to hear from Andy Zaltzman because, well, we saw a remarkable achievement from, well, a notable achievement from Joe Root today. But what else did you spot?
Well, let's start with Root as his long-awaited first 100 in Australia and his 16th Test and 30th innings here. Is 40th in all. That puts him 4th on the all-time list. I've lost my stat. I'm pretty sure that's 4th. He's now converted 23 of his last 40 50-plus scores over the last 5 years into centuries, having converted 17 of his first 66. So over half since then. He scored as many hundreds in the last 5 years as Kevin Peterson, Virender Sehwag, Justin Langer and Javid Miandad did in their entire careers. So it puts in context quite how extraordinarily consistent he's been in that time. That sort of covers the end of his captaincy and the Bazball era. His 135 not out. 4 more runs will be England's highest individual score in the first innings of a Gabba Test. Currently Ian Botham's 138 in 1986-87. This is only England's 8th century in Tests at the Gabba. 3 of them were scored in the 517 for 1 innings in 2010-11. Cook, Strauss and Trott. England only had 4 other hundreds in 21 previous Gabba Tests before Root's today. The 10th wicket stand with Jofra Archer is England's highest in Australia since 1982-83, when Pringle and Cowans put on 66 at the Gabba, and England's 3rd highest 10th wicket stand in Australia since 1903-04. And it's made up for those ducks. We saw 4 more ducks by England, 9 ducks already in the series. That's the second most England have ever had in the first 2 tests of an Ashes series. 6 of the top 7 have scored ducks already in the series so far. Zach Crawley out for 76 for the 4th time in his career, setting a new record for most times out for 76 by one player. And the other dominant player of the day, Mitchell Starc, superb once again, 6 for 71 from 19 overs. The rest of Australia's bowling attack, 2 for 249 from 55. Starc in the series, 16 for 184 at an average of 11.5, and the rest of Australia's bowlers collectively 12 wickets, average just under 38 per wicket. And Starc in the process became the highest wicket-taking left-arm pace bowler in Test history, overtaking Wasim Akram. In the course of this series, he's already moved up from joint 23rd to 11th in the highest wicket-takers in England v Australia Test cricket. And very rare Australian side we've seen today. It's the first time Nathan Lyon has missed a home test for 70 matches at home, and it's the first time they've only had one of Lyon, Starc, Hazlewood and Cummins in a team since 2014. So Starc, once again, as he often has when some of the others have been missing, stepped up superbly. Stokes, actually on Root's innings, it was an innings that showed all of his skills. It had 3 phases, essentially. Classic Rootian beginning, 61 off 94. Then, over the dusk period, and with wickets falling at the other end, really restrained, 27 off the next 77. And then, either side of his 100, 45 off the last 31 balls that he faced in the day. So 3 phases of Root, showing quite what an adaptable player he is. And just finally, Ben Stokes is run out, the first time England's captain has been run out in an Ashes Test since Tony Greig in 1975, just over 50 years ago, and the first time an England captain's been run out in Australia since 1962-63.